Good morning. Happy Monday.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, girls, if you're tuning in right now, this is the Monday drop, which this is only our second one. So I'll explain what it is just in case you're new here or slash haven't seen this before. And then I'll introduce my friend. So the Monday drop is every Monday, it's replacing the morning show. And we're literally just dialoguing about the most popular posts from last week, which is so fun because we go over these as a team every single week. But I'm like, these conversations need to be brought to light in a conversation around them. So today, my friend Caitlin, who you guys I hope have seen in the group because she is one of our partners and so amazing, and she's going to dialogue with me. But before we do, Caitlin, why don't you tell them a little bit about your expertise in the real estate space?
Sure. So I've been in real estate, I think 8 years now. I'm in the Phoenix metro area. I have a team currently, and a lot of my business comes from YouTube. So that's kind of my specialty. I do weekly YouTube videos. That's brought in most of my leads, I would say, for the last probably 5 to 6 years. It's been the consistent part of my business. And I also help other agents build their YouTube channels as well. So it's been fun being part of Moms in Real Estate and being able to help other moms in there and comment on things and share some insights. It's definitely YouTube's my jam.
Yeah. Well, we love having you in the group. And it's always good to know somebody's background, like, especially in situations where they're giving advice and putting in, all their expertise. So definitely connect with Caitlin. Okay, let's dive into the first one. Okay, so this was the most popular post last week. It's from a girl, doesn't have her name on here, but it says, seriously, how do you find your first clients? I have to make money. I've worked so hard and lost so much money at this point. I've done some rentals. I've done a number of open houses. I've talked to friends and family who might be interested in moving. My mentor hasn't been very helpful. I talked to my broker who said she would talk to him, and it's been 3 weeks. I kept asking the broker about starting a Facebook group for new agents in the office so we could learn from each other, and she said she's working on it. That's been about 6 weeks. I don't feel like I've gotten hardly any training. When I asked my mentor about shadowing him through a deal, he responded that he needed to protect his business. So much to unpack there. I have so much to say, but I want you to kind of kick us off with what is your response to this?
It sounds like it is a brokerage issue potentially and a team or mentor issue. Like I think it's both. It sounds like, and that's really disheartening and disappointing to hear. It sounds like she's not being supported by either, unfortunately.
Yep.
So, um, if I were her, I would probably consider making a move because it shouldn't be that way. And there are plenty of people who are willing to help newer agents, whether it's on a team or in a mentorship relationship. But I think it's just very now she knows, right? Like you don't know what you don't know when you start real
Yeah.
estate. And when I first started, I joined a team that I had no idea what I was getting into. And looking back, I'm like, that's probably not really what I wanted or what I thought. I took the good with the bad, but it is what it is. And I learned. And so I think now she knows a lot more for like, if she's going to consider switching brokerages or finding another team, like the questions to ask or finding another mentor, like what does this relationship actually look like to you? Are there, times where we're going to consistently meet? How much can I shadow you? Is it just buyers? Is it sellers? Do you offer any leads that I can work? A lot of questions like that. And you just, as a new agent, don't always know to ask that. And you assume someone's going to be helpful, but not everyone is. So,
Yeah. I love that response, and especially that you don't know what you don't know. And I will
mhm.
tell you the best advice I can give you as getting into the real estate industry is start to think of yourself as an entrepreneur. And one of the top things that I always say, like that has gotten me to where I am today, is I know that it's on me. I can't put it on everybody else. I have to be resourceful. Okay. So yes, this is totally a brokerage issue too. But at the end of the day, like it's up to you to say, this isn't working, and think like, what do I want this real estate business to look like? And then who are the people that are going to help me get there? And so even with like the mentor and everything, you need to start talking to people. You did such a great job posting in the Moms in Real Estate group because you're getting all this feedback and saying, what is this supposed to look like? And all of us are here to say, like, if you read the comments, like it shouldn't look like this. It doesn't have to look like this. And we feel for you. We see this all the time too, where it takes a while to get business up and going. And so if you go through the comments, there's just so many great ways as a new agent to get business. Do you have anything else to say about lead gen advice for her?
Yeah, I mean, I think just knowing that it's going to take some time, like it takes most agents at least like 6 months, if not a year, to really like feel like they're getting some business. And I think a full 2 years till you feel like you're getting consistent business for the most part. Like I think that's pretty standard. So, but finding your first clients is really like, I think the best way to think about it is like, what do you like to do naturally? Because if you don't want to go to a networking group, then don't go to a networking group because you think you have to, right? Like, don't go join the chamber or whatever people will tell you to do if that's not your flow. It's just going to make it harder and more painful. So I think you have to think about like, what do I naturally like to do? Is it knowing parents at your kid's school, or is it doing social media? There's so many different ways to connect with people and get business from that. And like knowing your sphere is great, but if you're not someone who wants to like call your sphere out of the blue because you never call them anyway, like then don't do that either, right? But you could find other ways to connect with them. And it might just be using your Facebook and connecting with people, posting more about real estate and what you're doing, and letting people know that this is what you do. So I think my advice on the lead gen side is, yes, it takes time. No, it's not easy, but it can be easier if you find a way that like really jives with what you like to do, and don't just think there's one way to get business.
Yeah. And then when you figure out what you like to do, like your mentor should be somebody who's done what you like to do, right? So if it's like, let's say it is networking events is one of the lead pillars, you're like, okay, find a mentor who's like built a business by going to networking events, right? So think about that too. I've seen a lot of new agents that are on a team and it's like hustle culture, call center, and you have to be there at whatever time and be there for so many hours. And it's like, I've got kids at home. I'm trying to get them out of the house in the morning. Like I can't be there right at 8 a.m. to go do those things, right? So that's not the best mentor for you. So think through that. Okay, let's dive into the next post. This one is very long. So I'm going to just like give you some cliff notes, but it's basically one of the moms in real estate in this group. She's been in business for 25 years. She's sold over 1,000 homes, but she's looking for a coach and a mentor because she's kind of feeling lost right now, and she had to get a second job, and she really just gets very raw and vulnerable here. So she's just asking for recommendations on coaches. And I love this. She's like, I don't want to go into this like super expensive coaching program. And I don't want to add another thing. Like, I just want to stay on track and do what I know how to do. And so lots of good feedback in here, lots of coaches posting about what they offer. But what do you have to say about this, Caitlin?
Well, I think it's great that she's recognizing that, like, even though she's done it for so long, we all need like a refresh or some motivation every now and then. And so it's great that she's like looking to like get some accountability and do things differently so she can continue on and enjoy what she's doing. But I think and I think she makes a really good point. Like I find that there are a lot of real estate coaches that's either like very beginner focused, or there's like, scaling your team kind of stuff. And in between, it's kind of hard to find the right person. So I really think like networking like this and posting in the group is probably the best thing. I worked with a coach a couple years ago that was perfect for me because she wasn't trying to run this huge coaching business. She just had a ton of real estate experience, both solo and scaling teams, and loved to coach other agents. And so there was no crazy commitment. There wasn't anything like, whatever. I was just one-on-one and like taking like, what does your business look like today? Where do you want to get it? Here's the things we need to do. And as simple as that. So those coaches exist. I know that. And I think you find them mostly through networking rather than just kind of the typical, bigger coaching groups and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of I was thinking about is this is why it's so important to build relationships with other agents, other female entrepreneurs, because in this post, I guarantee there's so many of you guys out there. And that means that you guys could actually be accountability buddies, right? So if you know the stuff you need to do, you're just not doing it. I know the same thing, like with some stuff with money, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing this stuff for my taxes. Like, I need to get on track with it. So I reached out to one of my girlfriends in St. Louis who's a real estate agent, and I know she was struggling with the same thing. And I was like, okay, Friday check-ins. Here's what we're doing. Like, here's what I need to be held accountable with. Here's what she is. And so from 8 to 8:30, we have to voice memo back and forth our check-ins. And so you could even find somebody even from this post, or even just think through, like, who do you know in real estate that would also want an accountability partner? But I'm also a huge believer in coaches. I've always had a coach. So there's so many different options. So many different directions we can go. But I love that post. Okay, so the third most popular post in the group last week was kind of a funny one. And it basically is talking about, like, what happens if a kid messes something up during a showing. So, like, you are bringing your clients to look at a house, they have a wild child, right? And the child is, I don't know, causing all kinds of chaos. Like, what would you do, Caitlin?
Oh, it's so awful. It's the worst feeling ever. These comments were really good because I learned a lot. One of them, and I can't remember who posted it. I'll have to look through it, but she kind of gave her whole rundown of like how she sets the expectation with buyers before they go out with their kids, and basically says, like, they can't do this, but in the nicest way, right? And like, I think, and it's also a rundown of like what to expect at showings. Like, there's going to be cameras, there's this and that. So I thought that was really, really good. Something that I am actually going to share with my team that we all should be doing when we do showings. But I think that's the best way to handle it, is to set the expectation up front, so that if it does occur, you're all on the same page with, like, this can't be happening, and someone will step in, rather than not setting that expectation. Then it happens, and then you're the bad guy to your clients, like trying to tell them, like, settle your kids down. Because we all know, like, your standard of behavior is not always the same as everyone else's. So while you might be like, this is so inappropriate, they might just think it's normal. And that's a really tough position to be in.
It's so tough, totally. Another thing that I saw kind of common in the comments was to have, like, stuff for the kids to do, maybe like an emergency bag of, like, go to the dollar store and shove in some, like, coloring books. Somebody said, like, a bingo card or a scavenger hunt. And you could do that, but I think that the best piece of advice is what you're saying, is like have those conversations up front. And hopefully they hear you. But the other thing is, if they do break something, like, it does need to be replaced and it does need to be brought up. And so I love the girl said that she ended up she Google searched what the kid broke and found it on Etsy and got it for her. And so it's also like making sure not to avoid talking about it. And it did happen, so replacing it.
Yeah, that's really good. I think also it's important to emphasize the fact to the parents that, like, this is your home search and your time to see these homes, and I want you to be able to focus. So, like, if you feel like your children are going to be distracting in that way, like, maybe there's a different way we can do this. In other words, like, get a babysitter or a family member, or maybe a family member tags along and, like, watches the kids in one room while everyone else gets to see it. I've one of the agents on my team once, like, literally babysat the kids for a while in a house for the parents. And I'm like, yes, that's helpful. But then also, like, you need to be with the parents too. Like, you can't just let them be walking around doing whatever. So it makes it really tough when kids are in the mix, especially depending on the ages too. Like, if it could be unsafe for, like, a little toddler walking around and pulling something down, it's a million things.
There is a million things. Well, these are so fun, and I'm so glad we got a dialogue about them. And if you
Yeah.
guys are listening, just to let you guys know, we've been working really, really hard on rolling out our new referral network. So you guys keep your eyes peeled. It's going to be the first in the beginning of September. You guys are going to start to see a lot of information come out about it. We've had our referral network for a little over a year now. And so we just wanted to take it to that next level. And so if that is a focus for you and your business, you are definitely going to want to pay attention. And Randi, you guys, Randi's not here. I want everybody to pray for Randi, because she got evacuated out of her house. They have fires like crazy in Reno right now. She's totally safe. And but it's just crazy. So everybody have her in your prayers. And she could have been on today, but I was like, go focus on everything that she has going on And so I just wanted to make sure to mention that too. And Caitlin, if anybody is not connected with you, where do they go to follow you?
On Instagram, I'm your Phoenix real estate agent. So that's probably the easiest way to connect with me.
Awesome. All right, you guys, we'll see you later.
Thanks, Kristen. Bye, guys.
Bye.